Credit Suisse was a global, systemically important bank. And there's 30 other banks just like it, including JPMorgan Chase, Bank of America, and Bank of China. This means that it affects the global economy because they serve the whole world. When this bank tanked, panic crept into the global economic system. Not only because this is another big bank tanking, but because the problems of Credit Suisse are different from the problems of Silicon Valley Bank, Signature, and Silvergate. And it demonstrates that there's more than one crack in the system. And the crack isn't limited just to the US, it's global. So what is it this time? What exactly happened to Credit Suisse? Credit Suisse was the embodiment of Swiss financial power, stability, and prestige until one problem after another weakened its foundations and everyone thought history had toughened up. If it wasn't for its rival, UBS, and the government joining forces to ensure its rescue, it could have been an even bigger problem. Its fall from grace is a cautionary tale of how all of us can end up if we insist on relying on the traditional financial systems. Like the three banks that failed in the US last month, Credit Suisse's problem started many years ago. The first problem and what really started this was the criminal convictions. Credit Suisse was convicted for allowing drug dealers to launder their money in Bulgaria and getting involved in a Mozambique corruption case, client data leaks, and a spying scandal involving one of its employees. They also did business with clients that had more than just questionable reputations. This includes Lex Greensill, an Australian businessman best known for being the founder of Greensill Capital, a company that focused on supply chain finance and derivative financial products. It filed for insolvency protection in 2021 and faced legal scrutiny. When these cases started hitting the headlines, clients started moving that money out of the banks. Second reason is the Silicon Valley Bank shadow. Credit Suisse launched different programs to regain the confidence of its depositors, and it seems to have been working. They reported gains back in January, but before they could publish these results, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission queried the bank's annual report, delaying the good news. Then you had these three bank runs happen, and you have Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and Silvergate. It felt like what Credit Suisse had achieved was a little bit too little too late. Depositors just didn't want anything to do with banks, and Credit Suisse recent troubles started creeping into everyone's conscious. And the third thing, the thing that was the icing on the cake, when its stock crashed to 31% in mid-March, Saudi National Bank made it clear that there will be no more money coming from them. And they're their largest investor. The Swiss Central Bank released a public statement of support and offered to lend 50 billion Swiss francs to the bank. However, that was just a temporary bandage. The only solution was to find someone to acquire the bank, and they found it in their rival, which was UBS. So, what does this matter? How does this pertain to you? The world's best managed financial institutions have been struggling since the era of rock bottom interest rates came to an end. If Credit Suisse could fail, there could be other banks that could fail that could be much smaller. You got to make sure you're diversified. Don't rely on a few assets, and especially don't put all your chunk in the banks. Assets like gold are great for this, precious metals. Be diversified, be in different assets. Gold, the value is innate, and that's why they're valuable, and that's why it's valuable anywhere in the world. It's not so much as we care about the banking crisis, it's just we care about protecting our investments, and that's why we're talking about these things. It's important to keep your eye on your investments.